Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha HaKodash. Right, double honors go out to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom wa Barakim to you brothers and sisters out there. Alright, this is the brother Malachiah from the Great Millstone Nashville camp. And Lord willing that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Alright, I wanted to touch on, how we are about to enter into some very dire times, serious times. Well, we're already in serious times, but in the sense of troublesome times, especially Jacob's trouble, which is something that a lot of these other so-called Israelites, prophets, and I say so-called because although they're Israelites, according to the flesh, they do descend from the patriarch Jacob, which we don't have the records, but we know through faith, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, right, are the Israelites. But I'm saying so-called Israelites because, they're a lot of these guys just saying it like it is. They're full of shit, and we know that, okay? For various different reasons that I don't even need to really go into. Some guys out there, they're doing it for vainglory, they're doing it for women, they're doing it for money, whatever alternative motive they have, it's not the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, right? This point, like it says in the book of Titus, mentions vain talkers, especially them of the circumcision, especially they of the circumcision. They're the ones that subvert whole houses, and their mouths need to be stopped. In other words, they need to shut the hell up and stop talking. Stop spewing out madness. If you're not going to break down the scriptures properly, if you're not going to rightly divide the word of truth, then shut the hell up. That's the bottom line. Because we might, slip up in the tongue, but we slip in the tongue, okay? We're not slipping in the doctrine. We might make a mistake or we might forget something, but we correct ourselves, starting with the apostles and elders on down. Okay, but let me get this Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. It says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book." All right, which is talking about the elect, because we understand predestination is in the scriptures. Okay? Predestination is in the scriptures. If you're going to be saved or you're going to be destroyed, that was already determined from the beginning. Okay? But we still play our roles and understand that we don't know the outcome of this. And like the scriptures say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Right? But the scriptures talked about how there's going to be, it's a time of trouble. Okay? We're talking about martial law. We're talking about famine, which will lead to cannibalism. We're talking about murder, which murder is already happening. Right? But it's going to be excessive. It's going to be way worse. We're literally, that's why they call it SHTF. Shit hits the fan, or in other words, all hell breaks loose. Okay, it's another terminology that we use. It's going to get rough as hell. And if you don't have Yahweh B'Shem Shai, then you're fucked. Okay? To say it exactly like how it is, if you don't have the Lord, you don't have the covering. If you're not in the Psalms 91, the secret place, if you don't have the Ezekiel 9:4, the Thawa, the mark exemption from judgment, which is a spiritual mark, which represents his knowledge, his truth, Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of thy times, the strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure, roughly paraphrasing. Then you're through. And most people out here, they don't have these things. They're blinded. The Lord has blinded them. Like it says in Matthew 13:11, Yahweh Shai said, "It was given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given." It was not given. Okay? So a lot of people out here, they're through from the jump. They're not going to make it. And that's guaranteed. And Tawadi Yahweh Shemel Shai, that we have this knowledge, that we have this understanding. Right? Because it's not something that you can acquire by choice even. You have to be given the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And it's not something that you can buy with money. Okay? If you could buy your way into the kingdom, then the elites would be the first ones there. They have the whole earth. It's not about money. Okay? It's not about, people say, well, I decided to change my life and I chose Christ. Which, first of all, we don't call him Christ. All right? Second of all, you don't get to just wake up and decide that. Yahweh Shai said, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you. All right, the Lord is the one that woke us up, which, like scriptures talk about how faith is a gift. Through the mercy of Yahweh Shemel Shai, we have received this knowledge. We were called. Now, we don't know if we're chosen, all right, but we know we got a damn good chance, especially compared to a lot of these damn numbskulls, okay, that are worshiping Satan, whether willfully or ignorantly. It doesn't matter. Okay, because you got people that are Satanists, you got people that are atheists, you got people that follow these other religions, worship idols. And that's why Matthew 7 talks about the broad gate. Because if you're doing anything outside of the 100% truth, the sound doctrine, then you are technically worshiping Beelzebub, Satan. Okay? Which ultimately we know Satan, he's righteous. He works for the Most High on the left-hand side. Because Isaiah 45 and 7, Salakia, the Lord controls both sides. Okay? But you're not to worship Satan. You worship Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. And yes, we worship Yahweh Shai as well. Anybody saying that we don't worship the Lord is a bug out. Okay? Scriptures tell us in Psalms 2, kiss the Son lest he be angry. He deserves all the praise and the glory, man. Starting with the Heavenly Father, of course, because there's an order, right? Which is why we say Yahweh first. Okay, but we worship Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Once again, anybody saying anything else is a fucking idiot. And he needs to be marked and avoided. And by marked, I mean scope pale, put the scope on his ass. In the sense of look, check him out, make sure people know that he ain't right. That's in Romans 16 and 17. And that's what the Apostle and elders have been doing. Every year, every month. Hell, at this point, damn near every week, every day. Especially certain elders that are appointed, in the spirit to basically point out bullshit, to make mention, hey, this dude's going off, that dude's going off, this is bugged out, that's bugged out. I got a few elders on mine right now that do that, on a consistent basis. You see? And that's a beautiful lot. We all have an office. We all have, duties that we have to do. Okay? No matter what office it is, whatever you were given, just do it. You got to do it. All right? And do it to the utmost ability that you can. Do your absolute best. Yahweh Shemel Shai deserves nothing less than our best. Our best foot forward, our effort. Right? But we're about to enter into this trouble. And that's why you got to put your effort forth. Because you want to be preserved from this stuff. You don't want to be caught out here, man. Will we go through times where we don't have food or water, or you might even get touched, in the sense of Esau will capture you and put hands on you. The Lord is still with you, though. So it's a dub. As long as you're not forsaken, because, even Yahweh Shai, in one of his darkest moments, his darkest hour, he thought that the Lord had forsook him, but the Lord was there. Okay? The Lord was there the whole time. And that's comforting, knowing that the Lord is dealing with us, that he's there. No matter what, even if we have to die, the Lord is there. He's watching. And he's going to be very pleased if you follow through with whatever it is that was set in front of you. Because remember, and it's a scripture that's getting quoted damn near every lesson at this point. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. Anything and everything that you are put through is made for you. It's like El Yashawamba said, it's a tailor-made hell. All right, tailor like as in like suits and stuff. They measure it to make sure it fits your body perfectly. The Lord has done that with his chastisement. Whatever we go through, no matter when it is, it's uncomfortable as hell and it sucks. The scriptures even tell you that it's grievous as hell. It's annoying. It's like fuck, but It's made for you to be better. Okay? And that in itself is a beautiful thing to keep in mind. If you find yourself in a guillotine and that blade is about to come down and chop your neck, then fuck it. That you were put in this position because the Lord knows that you're going to follow through and you're going to come out the other end. You know, even if you do get your head severed from your body, you got the dub. You died a martyr's death, which is really the most honorable way to go out. Okay? You know, you could really even say being a martyr is more honorable than getting beamed up, because you were willing to give your life for the Lord. You were willing to spill your own blood for the Lord's sake. You know, which is not to say the men that get beamed up and the women that get beamed up weren't going to be able to do that. You know, or like in the sense of, you know, wouldn't be able to do that, but that they wouldn't be willing to do that, rather, is the better way to say it. Salakia. But you being a martyr is a very honorable thing, man. Okay? And ultimately, every single one of us, even though we know most of us won't die, we all have to be willing. Okay? We all have to be willing to die. This is a war. There are casualties in war. You will lose soldiers. People will pass away. It's a part of the battle. It's the condition of the battle. Okay? Let me get this. 2nd Ezra chapter 9. This is a banger right here. This is definitely one of my favorites when it comes to, you know, whenever you lack faith or, you know, you find yourself low. Remember this, man. The Lord will preserve you. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're putting in faith and effort, the Lord will deliver you. He will take care of you in these times. He told us in the book of Isaiah. They're one of his mightiest prophets. My servant shall eat. Okay? We're going to be taken care of. We're going to be good. We don't need to worry about anything, man. Because we decide to seek the Lord now before the evil days. We decide to seek Yahweh Shemel Shai now before stuff got terrible, before it got bad. Okay? We decide to leave off comfortability and leave off our lives, you know, forsake houses and wives and family members and all this shit, all these opportunities, all this. We forsook all this to serve Yahweh Shemel Shai. Like Apostle Peter said, what are we going to receive, you know, therefore? You know, we've forsaken all. And Yahweh Shai said, you forsake all these things, you're going to get 100-fold. All right, like the story of Job. Job lost everything, and in a very short span of time too, mind you. But he got it all back and then some. Okay? It's called an investment for a reason. We're not actually losing our family and our opportunities and our wealth. No, you're investing it. Okay? And what comes with investment? Temporary loss, okay, but eventual gain. And the gain is way more than what you put in. Here it is. The Lord told us all we got to do is do the work and believe on Him and just continue to endure no matter what. Continue to endure no matter what. And we'll get saved. Okay? We'll be okay. So we just got to continue. All right, but let me get this. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 7 to 8. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So see, like how Yahweh said He ordained us. Okay, this is all predestination, and we just pray Yahweh Shemel Shai Ratazah that we're of the elect. Okay? When it says, you know, everyone that shall be saved shall escape. You don't escape a good time. So we're talking about a horrible time. 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 16. We are talking about a horrible time that's going to come upon the earth, and we are going to be able to escape from these things because we sought Yahweh Shemel Shai while He may be found, because we called upon Him while He is near, because we forsook the evil way, all right, because we sought after the old ancient paths. Jeremiah 6 and 16. So, you know, and like it says also in Hebrews 11 and 6, without faith you can't please the Lord, for one. And then two, it goes on to say in the latter end of the verse that you got to believe that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. So we need to be diligent, but we need to believe that there's a reward. You're not doing this for nothing. Like Apostle Paul said, I'm not one that beateth the air. This is all for a reason. We are sacrificing and battling every day for a reason. Okay? First and foremost, Because Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, this is the whole duty of man, where we're supposed to be doing this. All right, this is the whole point of us being Israelites. Jake he wants all the glitz and glamour. He wants to be a God, king, priest, and all that. He wants to, be proud in a righteous sense, proud of being an Israelite, which is nothing wrong with that. But it comes with a standard. All right, Jake, I'm a king, huh? Well, then act like a damn king. The hell, put in the work, And I'm not talking about nobody specifically. I'm saying Jake in general. They want, to be a part of such a great nation, but then don't want to put in great nation shit. You got to do the work, man. Okay? But yeah, just, honestly, just something I just wanted to put up, and I really pray that it was edifying. Yahweh Ratazah was. All right, before I close, I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rechak Kodash. Double honors the Apostle Ezra Millstone. Shalom. Yahweh Shem